Today we're going to look at how to read notes on the stave. Now we can have notes on the lines and in the spaces. And first we're going to look at the treble clef notes which come in the spaces. There are 4 spaces, so there are 4 space notes. The first one's F, the second one's A, the third one is C, and the fourth one is E, which very helpfully spell the word face. So we can use the word face to help us remember which note it might be. So if I have a note on the third space up, I just need to spell the word F-A-C, the third letter C, so that must be C. If I have a note on the top line, then I know it's going to be E, the last letter of the word face. A note in the bottom space is going to be F, and likewise, if I have a note in the second space up, I just know it's the second letter of the word face. Now we're going to take a look at the treble clef notes which come on the lines on the stave. There are 5 lines and so there are 5 notes. Let's fill these in now and then we can work out a way to remember them. We've got E, G, B, D and F. They don't spell a word, but we can think up a sentence to help us remember the order of these notes. So the E is going to stand for the word every. The G will stand for good. The B will stand for boy. D will stand for deserves. And the F will stand for fudge. So the sentence is, every good boy deserves fudge. And that will tell us the order of the line notes, starting from the bottom to the highest line note. So I'm just going to cover up those notes and the sentence there. See if we can remember it together to help us work out the notes. So if I said, what's that note there on the middle line, we'd count up with the phrase, every good boy, B. So we know that note must be B. And if I just move the box, we can have a quick check. Yep, there it is. It is B. So what about the top note? We do the same thing. We start at the bottom. Every good boy deserves fudge. So it must be F. And how about the bottom note? Well, that's the easier. Every stands for E, doesn't it? Then the fourth note up, every good boy deserves, is D. And then the second one must be the G, every good. Okay, so that's a way to remember those line notes. And if I take that away, we can just check we were right. Exactly. Every good boy deserves fudge. Now we're going to take a look at the notes in the bass clef. So first, let's start with the notes that come in the spaces of the bass clef. So they're going to be different to the right hand. We've got A, C, E, and the final one is G. So again, they don't spell a word. We're going to use a sentence to help us remember this group of space notes. The A stands for all, C stands for cows, E stands for eats, and G stands for grass. So we have all cows eat grass. So if I was to say, what is the space note which comes in the top space in the bass clef? We could go, all cows eat grass. It must be G, right? If I said the second space up from the bottom, all cows, it must be C. The third space up, all cows eat, must be E, and the bottom space is the A. So again, we're always working from the bottom of the stave to the top. Finally, let's look at the notes which come on the lines in the bass clef. Let's fill those in now. The bottom line note is G. The next one is B. Then we have D, F, and A. And again, we're going to use a sentence to help remember that order. The G stands for good. B stands for books. D stands for don't. F stands for full. And A stands for apart. So we have good books don't fall apart. Let's cover that up and see if we can remember that phrase to help us work out the notes. So if I was to say, what is that second note up? I would need to remember good books. So it must be a B. And next up, if I say, what is this top note? Good books don't fall apart. A. That must be an A. Now let's do the lowest note. Good. That's a bit easy, isn't it? As long as we can remember good is the first word in our phrase. Fourth line up. Good books don't fall. Must be F. And this line note in the middle. Good books don't. It's a D, isn't it? Okay. And if I just pull away that box again, we can check our answers. Yes. G, B, D, F, A. Good books don't fall apart.